Hey, hello everyone. Good evening and welcome to another Kaizen series. Today we'll be talking about making money online as a designer. By the way, my name is Timothy Esanju. I'm a designer and a brand strategist. I've been designing for about 7 years now. So no matter where you are in your design journey, I've been there before, right? Of course, there's always somebody that is ahead of us, but trust me, everything I'm going to say today will be out of experience. I'm going to help you go from where I was 7 years ago, making 5,000 naira, and just yesterday, I think the last design gig I did was about 700K, right? So, of course, I've done more than that, but I'm just trying to tell you that's the last money that came into my account as a designer. Makes sense. So, right now, I run a design and marketing agency here in Port Harcourt. We have clients both on ground here in Nigeria and outside Nigeria. I've been able to build this business, and I think good. So I started designing 7 years ago and I struggled to make money online. And I'm sure most of you are where I was a long time ago. And there was three things I noticed when everything turned around for me. I realized I would have made those money, like the money I was making, I would have made that amount of money a long time ago if I didn't lack these three things. And one of them is one, lack of the right mindset, lack of focus, and lack of direction. That's like saying a roadmap, right? So everything I'm going to teach you today is how I made 5,000 naira, hiring my first 50K, first 200K, first 500K, first 2 million, first 3 million, first 5 million, and so on, right? So make sure to stay glued to the end. If you're live here, I want you to share the link right now. Get your friends to get involved. I want us to get this place to at least 100 persons in the next 10 minutes, right? So if you're ready, click ready in the chat box. Let me see you guys, right? So just click ready, 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 and let's roll. All right. So one of the early things I learned in my design journey is if you want to go somewhere, it's better to go with somebody that has been where you are before because they make your journey faster. So as a designer, you shouldn't be looking up to somebody that is an affiliate marketer, right? To get you to your next big paycheck in design. That's lack of focus. And that's one of the three things I listed earlier. So the first thing I want you to know as a designer is the way we make money is different from how other people make money. Trust me, you're not going to get your first 1 millionaire the same way somebody that is an affiliate gets his or her first 1 millionaire. It's totally different. And if you follow everything I'm going to teach you here today, in the next 6 to 12 months, you will be swimming in money. Yes, you will be swimming in money. So take every single thing I tell you seriously because it's exactly how I've built my business. I'm currently working on a company, right? I'm currently working with some guys outside Nigeria. And right now, I'm pitching a company in the UK I'm trying to get them to hire me. And it's the same strategies I've used to go from making 5,000 naira to now having clients in the UK and even trying to pitch somebody. And I'm more than 75% sure that it's going to be a win. So stay with me. So, like me before, you might feel intimidated when you see people say, hey, I just got a job in the UK, or I just made my first 1 million, I just made my first 300K, I just bought a new MacBook. You know those Twitter guys, right? Listen, as a designer, they are living clues. All you have to do is model it. Do you understand? Model it. So, I'm going to talk about 4 things today that is going to help you go from making whatever it is you're making now to at least making 6 figures in design in the next 6 months. And I'm not saying make your first 6 figures, I mean make consistent 6 figures in the next 6 months, right? So the first thing I want you to know is you need to have the right mindset. There's a funny thing that happens to us designer, and that's because we get to do a lot of free stuff for people. Then they get to pound you. You know, when you start learning design, somebody comes up from nowhere, says, hey, can you help me do this stuff? And then you do it for the person, no payments, sometimes no thank you, they just go. Then you have lots of those people around you. They now make you devalue the skill. They make you feel like the skill is not going to be able to afford you the life that you deserve and desire. But it is not true, I tell you, my friend, right? Design can make you enough money to live on a yacht. It can make you enough money to leave this country. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So do not live or go by your last experiences. Forget about every single person that has gotten you to do free stuff for them, right? And I want you to think of the future, right? Think of yourself like a doctor. The same way people need doctors when they are sick, that's how people need designers for their businesses to grow. For instance, the last flyer design you did, you were not just contracted to do a flyer design, you were solving a problem for that business owner. What is it, you might ask? The person used that flyer to advertise their business and they got people that bought from them. So indirectly, you've been solving business problems, but you just see it as a flyer. Does it make sense to you? So doctors, right, are like designers, or designers are like doctors. And I want you to take this profession that seriously. Do you understand? You're not designing flyers for designing flyers' sake, right? You're designing flyers to solve people's business problems. You're not designing business cards, right, for designing business cards' sake because you know how to move pixel. No, you're solving people's business problem, right? For instance, there was a time I did a logo for someone, and in the process of them pitching, I didn't even know this. He just called me one day and he was like, "Hey, Timmy, what's up?" And I'm like, "Boss, I'm fine." He said, "Can you send me your case study? I kind of lost it, and I'm in the middle of a business meeting. I'm trying to pitch investors." And I'm like, wait, hold up. So you're using this slide deck I sent to you to explain how I arrived at this logo to pitch your investors. And it was like, yes. That moment, I changed the price of that logo because I was done with the logo, right? And that was me like, okay, get the point. I was done with the logo and we were in the process of payment, but he needed to make some correction. Because I had not sent him the invoice, I changed the price of that logo from 100K to 360,000 naira, and he paid. That's how valuable you are, right? You're not designing logo for designing logo's sake. People use these things, right, to promote their businesses. Do you understand? You are actually a strategist in the making. Make sense? So the next thing I want you to note is you need to decide. You need to decide. You need to decide the niche you want per time, right? You can't be everywhere. Of course, I'm not going to stop you from collecting any jobs that come your way, right? But Krizu said something, right? He said, be a generalist inside and be a specialist outside. That's exactly what I want you to do. People should know you for something per time, right? And away from the whole motivational talk, let me tell you pump and plain how I secured my first job in the UK, right? I decided I wanted to do posters that look like movie posters. And I opted in for a competition. And when I joined that competition, I designed my own design was different from every other person's own. Now somebody came into my DM to like say, "Hey, what's up? Can you do these thumbnails, do these designs for me?" And I was like, "Yeah, I can." And I did those designs for him. And that was how I moved from designing for churches and all of that. And I'm in a new niche now. So you can always switch. So the thing I want you to do now is to decide where you want to mount your guard. Make sense? So I found myself in the boxing industry since last year, and right now I'm designing something to pitch to one of the biggest boxing radio stations in the world. Do you understand? So you have to pick a niche. Don't stop doing everything you're doing. Continue doing it, but focus on something and push only that per time. If you check somebody like the only Farouk, how did he blow up? He redesigned the Innocent logo. I hope that's right pronunciation. He redesigned the Innocent logo, Innocent Cam logo. And if you go to his portfolio, you would see that the recent job he's working on now is a car dealer, right? He's rebranding He's branding a car business, a car company. How did he strike that? He decided he wanted to redesign Innocent Motors. He did that, and right now he's in the car industry, making waves there. Makes sense. So the next thing you need to do is to find a giant in that industry and solve a problem for them. Remember what I said earlier. You are not just designing flyers. You're designing flyers and solving people's business problems. That's exactly what I want you to do. Pick what you do already, right? And find a giant in an industry that you want to work in and use that skill to solve a problem for them. For instance, there's a company I want to do stuff for in the UK. I noticed they have bad designs compared to their competitors. What am I doing? I'm redesigning everything. In fact, I was talking to some of my friends. I'm thinking of redesigning their logo. But even if I don't go that route, even if I just stay with their social media designs, right? These guys will notice me. Designers thrive and make money on visibility. Visibility. The skill that you have, right, thrives and make money on visibility. If you're still following, I want you to write that down. My skill thrives on visibility. Makes sense? So the only Farouk, that was what he did. He redesigned the Innocent car logo, posted it on Twitter, had a lot of people retweet and like it, right? And he got gigs from that job. The same thing with Isaac Zara. Isaac Zara redesigned Clubhouse. If you go to that portfolio, there's no how you're not going to want to hire him. It's impossible, right? Which brings me to another point under this. You have to have, let's take that again. You need to have your skill to at least above average. You don't have to be the best designer in the world, right? You just need to know what you're doing. And that's the difference between people that are making money designing and those that are not. You see some people that are designing stuff, really good stuff, but they're not making as much money as those that look like novice. This is exactly what they do differently. They pick a niche, they find somebody in that niche that is big, they offer their service for free, solving a problem for this person. This person hires them, right? And they are made for life. Does it make sense? So you have to understand that you don't have to be the best designer in the world to make crazy money from design. Whatever it is you're doing, even if it is with your mobile phone, keep doing it. But one, pick a niche. Two, find a giant, redesign something for that giant, right? And hopefully somebody is going to pick you up. Do you know why I said hopefully? I wanted to make you feel bad. There's no hopefully. It is certain that somebody is going to pick you up as long as you do it right. And doing it right, I mean copying other people's portfolio, following structures, how people structure their portfolio, how people post their designs online. There's so many of you that just design stuff and post it like that. No mock-ups, no case study, nothing. Nobody's going to look at your side, right? The next thing I want to talk about is positioning. Another position I want to talk about how people perceive you. You have to increase your perceived value. The first time I made 700,000 on a design job, it was because somebody felt I was worth that amount of money. And I kid you not. After designing this job and sending it to this client, he called me and then he was like, hey, what's up? How much are you going to charge to do this other stuff for me? And I'm like, it's going to cost you, you just said, okay, I'm going to send you money. And I'm like, okay, how much are you going to send me? I got an alert, 700K. The first job I did for him, I charged him 50,000 naira. How did I move from 50K to 700K? It was because over time, he had seen me posting stuff on my status. He has seen me doing classes. He has seen me go to places. Do you understand? And he felt like this guy is worth more than 50K right now. So your positioning matters. Every single thing that goes out of you, every single thing that goes out of your brand should speak volume, should make people see you like a doctor. You get the whole doctor analysis, right? So you don't talk, you don't act, you don't misyan. You don't give people that gap to feel like, hey, why are you charging me 50,000 naira? Why are you charging me 100K? I can get somebody that can do it for me. Listen, the people that say I can get somebody that can do it for me for cheaper, right? It is the guys they are talking to that make them feel that way because they are unable to convince or talk to them like they are worth the money. And listen, you are not the needy, you are the needed. If you don't get anything from this live session, I want you to get this. You are the needed, not the needy. People need you for their design. People need you for their business to move forward. That's why you notice people go to churches because there are people that go to churches because they just love how the designs look. And one of those churches, you know them already. I have a friend that started going to a church because he just liked how the design looks. Do you think that designer is the needy or the needed? The church needs the designer. You notice people give you flyers on the road, you don't squeeze it and throw it you don't squeeze all the flyers you get and throw it away. Some of them you package it and keep it well. Why? Because somebody took his or her time to design it properly. Do you think that person will see himself as the needy? No. Most of you do crazy designs, beautiful designs, but you still charge low, right? Because you feel I need them. No, they need you. Do you understand? So the next thing I want to talk about is positioning, and I'm going to talk about it in 3 phases. And this is how to make crazy money as a designer. 3 phases. Now, the first one is you can make money as a freelancer. The second one is you can operate like an agency. The third one, which is what I want you to do, is to operate as a freelancer, right? But use every single thing agency uses. Do you get that? When I say a freelancer is somebody that works for themselves, right? So right now you might not have enough capital, enough money to run like an agency, right? But I want you to have that in view. And that's how to make crazy money. Agencies are the ones that make the most. And that's where I want you to get to. But for the meantime, operate like a freelancer, but carry everything agency uses from their work processes, their systems, contracts, templates, every single thing they use. Let me tell you the difference between an agency, a freelancer, and then what I want you to do. A freelancer is somebody that does everything for themselves. They get to keep the profits, right? They keep all the money that comes out from the business, and then they everything is dependent on them. Does it make sense? While an agency hires a team, right? An agency's owner has more free time, right? And they only keep the profit. Let me tell you what I mean by keep the profit. Chris Du said something. He said, every money you make, right? Let me take it back. Assuming, he said it this way, he said, assuming you give somebody a job to do for you and you don't get to touch anything, how much extra would you charge the client? The extra on it is your profit. And that's one of the best pricing strategies I've ever heard and used. So if somebody should give you a job right now and you want to contract one of your friends to do it, how much are you going to make if you don't get to do anything, right? That's how an agency runs. So agencies keep the profits. Now, what I want you to do, right, is to have contractors and associates going forward, right? Then this is going to give you peace of mind. You get to keep some profits. Why am I saying this? I realized that as long as I was working alone, I couldn't make good money. Why? It never allowed me to have the time to learn the things I was supposed to learn so that I can increase my earning power. And that's where most designers are sinking. The place where they don't have any free time. Every single job that comes, right? they have to do it themselves. If you keep operating like that, you'd never make crazy money from design. And that's the truth. So that's why I'm saying you need to start running or start thinking like an agency. Can this design business you have, can it run without you being there? Does it make sense? So start running like an agency, right? But this is the flow. You start out as a freelancer using everything agencies use, contracts, processes, systems, right? Get more jobs, give it to contractors to work on for you, right? Make profits, learn more, and then that's it for you. So the final thing I want to tell you, which is a real life story, this is how I made my first 1 million naira, right? If you're still with me, click, say something on the chat box. If you're learning something from this, this is valuable to you, I want to say something on the chat box. I'm watching it right now. So how did I make my first 1 million naira? So that you would understand everything I've said so far. Now, I started out working for a job, 5,000 naira. They started paying me 5,000 naira. I used my 5,000 naira, paid somebody to teach me how to design from scratch, because where I learned to design, I was not designing anything from scratch. I'll just collect my boss's design, redesign it, and then that's it, right? After that, I paid somebody, he taught me some things about design. I increased my earning from 5,000 naira to 22,500 naira, right? And that was how it was for me, struggling, before I now realized these things I just told you. So I picked a niche. I found out that there was somebody that needed something in the skincare niche, right? And I did all the research I could around that. Immediately I was done with that, I found somebody that was a big shot in that niche. I designed something for her, right? She did not send me work. Remember, I wasn't commissioned. Then I got a lot of my friends to like it, retweet it. That I posted it on Twitter. So I got lots of like, retweets, and all of that, right? And people, notice, she did not contact me. She didn't even look at my place. She didn't like, she didn't repost, nothing, right? But it was a win-win for me because somebody from that niche saw what I did, liked it, and employed me. And that was how I made my first 1 million naira, using every single thing I've told you. Now, the reason why I added this agency thing to it is because you can't go so far without it. How did I make my first 3M? It was this same strategy. I got a job from another person, but that time I was really choked up. I hired contractors using the agency model. So contracts were signed, processes, systems, and all of this were put in place, right? And these guys did the job. And my profit for that job was about 700,000 to either 600 or 700,000. And that was it. I remodeled that, and that was how I increased my earning power. Do you understand? If you want to make money as a designer, right? Remember these things. Success leaves clue. All those people that you see posting stuff online, they are not stupid, right? They are increasing their perceived value. They post their laptop, they do all of those things, they are increasing their perceived value. They post their work process, they are getting people to know that they know what they are doing. So you need to do that also, right? The second and final thing, the last thing I want to say right now is you don't have to be the best in the world to make crazy money from designs, right? Always come from the point of you are a problem solver and get people to see you for that. Does this make sense to you, right? Thank you very much for tuning in. If you have any questions, drop it in the chat box. We'll be there to answer.